Good morning. Had a question come in about my opinion on Aussie US as a short. So I wanted to give a quick rundown on how one might analyze this. So we went all the way up to the weekly chart. Person asked me about daily and 4 hour. So anytime I'm going to look and see what is my opinion on this thing, I always go up a time frame. See what's the larger time frame aspect. So you can see since May of 2021. Price has been coming down. It bounced off of this particular price here around 6,200, bounced off hard, came back down, bounced, came back down, penetrated that a little bit, and now it's bouncing again. Is this a dead cat bounce? Is this a bearish flag? My instincts would say this is a bearish flag, but I don't care about my instincts. I only care about what does the chart tell me. Well, the chart tells me that right now, price has been going back up again. Now, this week, going down. So let's drop down into the daily chart and take an analysis of that. And I forget what button it is that makes you go all the way to the end, but here we go. So you can see price came down. We bounced off of, we penetrated through that 6,200. We bounced off of 6,150. By the way, those whole numbers, yeah, they're important. They're not only psychologically important, but they are important in because if someone is going to place pending orders of the big banks and whatnot, that's one of the theories behind supply and demand zones. Is there's a whole big batch of orders that are waiting down there. They're probably going to be placing it at logical increments like 6,150, 6,200, 6,300, those kinds of things. So you can see price came down, bounced off of it, came down, tested it again, bounced off hard, and now we're basically okay, what's happening? We were putting in a series of higher highs and higher lows. What does that mean? That's an uptrend. Well, then we broke that uptrend. We put in a higher high, we put in a lower low. I'm not going to count that wick there, but from where this was, we put in a lower low. Now we've put in a lower high. So what does that mean? Well, putting in higher highs and higher lows means you're in an uptrend. Putting in lower highs and lower lows means you're in a downtrend. We have not yet put in a lower low from this. So we can't confirm it's a downtrend just yet. All we know is we haven't put in a higher high. So we're not really anymore in an uptrend. So if I was to say, what would I do here? Well, let me turn on my supply and demand zone tool. First thing I would have done was when I saw price bounce off here, I would have shorted at this demand zone to say, wait, no, next time it gets here, let's see what happens. And sure enough, price fell away. Now, it did not fall away as far, which tells me there's still a lot of buying pressure here. Now we penetrated up again, but we didn't penetrate up as high as this was. So that means the selling pressure up here around, again, look, 6,400, there's you a whole number, is pretty significant. So what are the odds I think that it's going to penetrate 6,400? I would expect it to struggle to go up through 6,400. Last time we're down here at 63, it struggled. So right now, price is trying to figure out where it wants to go. What is my opinion on shorting this thing? Well, I would have shorted it yesterday. Actually, I take that back. I would have shorted it on Monday if I was going to short this. If I was going to do anything, I would have waited. Um, by and large, on the daily chart, I'm not doing anything. Right now, price is in a range. And when price is in a range, it's fantastic. Range trading can be like just an ATM, right? I hate saying the word ATM machine because it's redundant, but it can be like an ATM machine. When you've got a great defined range, you're going long when it hits the bottom, you're going short when it hits the top, and it just goes ping pong ball up and down, up and down, up and down. And you just go short, long, short, long, short, and just keep raking the money in. Well, right now, price is in a range. And we see this box here. Let me see if I can draw a box successfully without cluttering everything up. Can I draw a box? Do I even know where a box is? There's a rectangle. Price right now is inside of a box. See that? That's where price is. Price is inside this box. More specifically, price is lately been inside of this box. So I would absolutely short here, and I'd go long here, and I'd short here, and I'd go long here. But they asked about daily and 4 hours. So on the daily chart, you're not going long. I'm not going long at all until I get here. So if I'm not going long, does that mean I'm going short? No, not necessarily. One of the best pieces of advice I ever heard about trading was have a reason to get into a trade, whatever that is, and then look to get out of your trade when that reason goes away. All right? Not going long is not a reason to get in a trade. Not going short is not a reason to get in. Not a reason to get in the trade. Just because you're not going long doesn't mean you are going short. We don't have a reason to go long. As of right now, we don't have a reason to go short. If price, in fact, breaks this right here, 62, call it 62.60. If price breaks that, then yeah, we're probably going all the way back down to 6,200. But that's not a lot of room there. If you think about, okay, where's the logical place to put my stop? If I'm waiting for price to break this, which is fine, my logical stop is going to be up here past the spot where it bounced last time. So you're looking at 142 pips. Where's a logical place to put my take profit? Well, I mean, I'm not going to be, the probability of price bouncing here at 62.25 is pretty high. So I'm looking to make 50 pips risking 150 pips. That's not a calculation that I would do on the daily chart. So on the daily chart, there's no clear direction from my perspective. This is all just pure price action analysis. I'm not even going to bother turning, well, I'll turn on Forest. Forest says look to go short. Right? The last thing we had was a new 50 period low. So Forest is saying if we're going to do anything, we're going short. But the time to go short on Forest was back here. What does Frank say? Frank says the time to go short was the other day, but you would not have gotten triggered. Here's your signal to go short. You would have had a stop order that would have not had gotten triggered, and the pending order would have expired. So Frank's not telling you anything other than back here. Frank says go long, and Frank was right. So right now, just on a pure price action analysis of a daily chart, I'm not seeing a daily setup that I would take. Jump down to the 4-hour chart. And again, I would love to know what button you press on TradingView. Someone let me know what button you press on TradingView to jump to the end. All right, so on the 4-hour chart, what are we doing? Well, again, we are inside of a box. And I love a box for range trading. Look at that. You go long when it hits down here. You go short when it gets up here. You go, well, of course, it didn't get down here. So a lot of times those ranges, you're going to break out of them eventually. But by and large, we're still stuck in this range. So again, let's say, is there a reason to go long? Where's the delete button? Where's the delete button? Give me 1 second, people. There it is, way up there. Is there a reason to go long? Well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 demand zones down here below. Well, yeah, let's take that off. I'm sorry. Let's look at pure price action. All right, price went down, went up, which is a lower high, and then put in a higher low, right? You want a trend if you're a trend trader, which means you want a series of higher highs and higher lows, or a series of lower highs and lower lows. We're putting a higher high and a lower low, and then a lower high and then a lower low. That's the definition of a wedge or a triangle, right? That's saying there is no trend. Price doesn't know what it wants to do. Right now, price is down here at this spot, which if I hadn't already turned on my supply and demand tool, I would realize, hey, there's probably a demand zone down here, and that would have been all right. And so price is at a spot where I would absolutely not go short right now on the 4-hour chart, because what this price action means is I would expect price to struggle. Doesn't mean price is going to bounce here. It absolutely does not mean go long here. It just means that the probability is price is going to get down here and struggle, probably go sideways a bit. We got 2 big red candles in a row. And you see today, how far are we into? We're about 30% into the time period of this candle, and nothing's happening. We haven't had this big move. So the momentum that we had leading into where we are right now is gone, right? Momentum is gone. Price isn't continuing to move. Does it mean anything going forward? No. All we can do is say the probability is, given all of this sideways action here, we're probably going to have some more sideways action here. What would I do in this case right now on the 4-hour chart? If I was doing anything, I'd be going long, right? Because why? Okay, what is the setup look like? If I'm going to go long, I go long exactly where I am and say I'm risking 30 pips. I'm going to get down here below this demand zone. I'm going to risk 30 pips to make 70 pips. So that's a 2-to-1. That's an absolute perfect setup to go long. Do I have a reason to go long, right? Everything for the last 2 days has been short. Do I have a reason to suddenly go long? Now, maybe I'm a range trader and I'm just trading, tops and bottoms. If that's the case, this probably fits your setup. Go at it. And I realize I'm talking fast, so because I've had 2 cups of coffee and a cup of tea this morning, which is why most video players had that option to turn you down to 0.75. I would highly recommend everyone do that. Let's turn on. Says Forest is our dead simple. So right now, Forest is saying the last thing we had was a brand new higher high. So this is what those blue dots mean. Blue dots say when you get that, and when you have green X's and a blue dot, you look to go long when you touch the 30, which was here. and we'd be in drawdown right now. Not a lot, because here's your stop way down here. Just to show you what a forest setup would look like. We'd say, all right, we got our blue dot, we got our blue dot, we got a green X, means we're going long. When price touches this, which is here, our stop loss is the last red dot, and our take profit is here. You say, well, hang on, Pepper, that's not 1-to-1. Well, I didn't say it's always one. This is what this strategy says. This strategy says your first take profit is either 1-to-1 or the blue dot, whichever's first. And your second, in this case, because the blue dot's first, this is where you get out for your first one. 50% comes off the table there. And then you get 1-to-1, which is going to be here. Can I get to 1-to-1 before I have any issues? Yeah, probably. And then 2-to-1 is your last one. So from a Forex standpoint, it's all right. This is going to be a long trade, though. A long 4-hour trade as opposed to a short 4-hour trade. Let's turn on Frank. See what Frank says. Does Frank say anything? Turn Frank on. No, Frank's not saying anything. Frank told you to go short here, and again, you didn't get triggered. This candle is, it's a 1 candle wait. All right, if you get on the next candle, you're in. If you don't get on the next candle, the pending order expires. Look right here. Frank said to go short. You would have gotten in, and you would have gotten out probably for a loss, a very small loss on this candle. Actually, yeah, you'd have gotten out for a very small loss on this candle right here. So that would have been a small loss. So Frank's not selling you anything at the moment. So for the 3 strategies that I take, the other one is Bob. I don't have my Bob indicator on here. Bob is a breakout. Bob says when you have a pullback from a trend, look to get back into it when the trend has fully resumed and the pullback is over with and you're breaking out. There's nothing Bob here. So the strategies that I trade and just the pure price action analysis, I'm not taking a long or a short here. I'm not taking a short here. That's absolutely true. On the daily chart, I wasn't taking a long. And this is why you say, well, you want to go long or short the Aussie US? Well, what are we talking about? Which time frame are we talking about? Because I'm absolutely not going long here on the daily. And on the 4-hour, again, what button is it that you click to jump you to the end? On the 4-hour, I'm absolutely not going short. All right, if I had to do anything on the 4-hour, right now is a perfect time from a supply and demand standpoint, from a range trading standpoint. Right now is a perfect time to go short. You got a 2-to-1 setup that's sitting here perfect. All it's waiting on is for the driving force behind price action to switch from bears to bulls. Right now, the bulls have lost their momentum. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Let me say that correctly. Right now, the bears, the short sellers, have lost all their momentum. They were in charge until this very point. And as of right now, there's a struggle going on between the buyers and the sellers. And we have yet to see who's going to win that struggle. Which one is going to outlast the other one to take over momentum? Is it going to be the continued bears and we keep going down? My gut tells me that the bulls are going to win a little bit at least, enough probably for a 1-to-1. I can absolutely see getting in right here, risking 28 pips. I'll just call it 30. I hate to always round up. And getting out at 30 pips as a 1-to-1. I can see that as a perfect little 4-hour, probably less than a day, 1-to-1 setup. Will it get all the way up to 2-to-1? Probably, but you can at least get to 1-to-1 there. All right, is there anything here? Let me jump down to the 1-hour chart and take a look. Oh, what button do you press to get all the way to the end? All right, the 1-hour looks very similar to the 4-hour. We came down. Look at this. I can see why someone would be interested in a short, because look at all this short selling bearish momentum. Just crashes all the way down. But then you see this candle here? You see this candle right here? Price crashed all the way down, and then the bulls said, you're gonna bounce off of 62.70 and push back up again, and now we're putting in a green candle. So this tells me that all of this bearish momentum is over with. All right, the time to get in this thing short was back here, and the train has left the station. Don't jump on a moving train. So at this point, I'm waiting for a setup. I do not trade the 15-minute chart, but let's just take a look at the 15-minute chart to see what it would say. And as we scroll forward, look at this. We crashed down and boom, we bounced off. I mean, if you talk about the effectiveness of supply and demand trading, we bounced off of this thing. That is 62.72, and the low of this candle is 62.71. I mean, the supply and demand tool called the bounce point on this thing within 1 pip. That's just fantastic. But we're up here at this supply zone on the 15-minute chart. So would I go long here? Absolutely not. What am I doing? If I'm doing anything down on the 15-minute chart, I'm going short, and I'm going short this very instant. So we're risking 6 pips, call it 7, to make 12. So we got a 1.5 to 1 trade happening right now. And by the time this video is posted, it's going to be on. So don't try to jump in on this. But anyway, all of that to say, for the person who asked me this question, what is my opinion of Aussie US? My opinion of Aussie US is stay away. There's no for the trade strategies that I am familiar with, and from a pure price action standpoint, price isn't giving you a clear picture. Can someone make money? Absolutely. Flip a coin and go at it. Apply your risk management, your trade management, and do what you're going to do. But, oh my goodness, this is a 15-minute video. I do apologize for ranting. Anyway, all that to say, there's no clear picture. And what is the Bible verse from Proverbs? Not from Proverbs. That where there is no vision, the people perish. Well, where there's no vision, traders perish. So bear that in mind. I apologize for the length of it. Hope this answers the question, and I'll see you all guys another time.